Dealing with mental health, especially being a black woman, the first things that was told me was to pray against it and to rebuke it in Jesus' name. I'm not going to mention anybody, but going to certain people and they're telling me, you know, you've got demons in you. For me personally, that's been one of the hardest things dealing with my mental health.
I'm completely manic right now, having a whole episode with no help. I'm tired. I've been overwhelmed for the past 4 days. It's been a lot put on me the past 4 days. No consideration other than myself. I'm tired. I'm trying to love myself. I need a break. And he just right there eating pancakes. But this is a mom's job, right? We just gotta show the fuck up.
My therapist told me depression shows up differently in black women because we don't have the option of just not showing up. Have you ever heard the term depress those dishes? We have to show up to school, show up to our jobs, and literally push through everything despite being depressed. Like, we don't have the option of having a messy room like Susie next door. We literally have to have our shit together all the time. We have to look presentable. We have to have our hair on 10, our nails on 10. There just isn't a standard of just existing for us sometimes. And I think that's literally insane. And I was just thinking about that because it's so hard sometimes. Like, I literally want to crash out and I can't.
My mom just asked me, like, how does it feel being depressed? And the best way I could explain it to her was, regardless of like all the good things that you have going on in your life, like, you would still rather like not be here. But like, it's obviously not the same for everybody, but for me, that's how my mental illness has always shown up. Like, no matter what I have going on that's good, no matter like how good I may feel on a day-to-day basis, like, the best way I can describe it is like, if somebody were to give me like a bus ticket into non-existence, I would take it 10 times. And that's what makes living with these things so hard, because it's not so much that like your life is bad, you know, and people sometimes assume that, or like that you're not grateful for the things that you have. It's just like, if you had a choice, like, you would not be here. And that's really difficult to live with sometimes on a daily basis.
If you've ever struggled with your mental health but hide it really well, gather here. So I've been in therapy now for almost 5 years, and the other day somebody had asked me, hey, like, Chizzy, I didn't know you were in therapy. I thought that was like for depressed people. And I wasn't offended or anything, because where they're from, like, therapy isn't normal, but it really made me notice that from looking at me, I wasn't someone that could deal with mental health issues, right? And it really made me think about just like how well specifically Black women tend to hide their mental health issues. Not saying that, you know, everyone else in the world doesn't suffer with mental health issues, but the way a Black woman can hide her struggle is honestly a science. Many of us deal with high functioning depression, anxiety, all types of disorders, but we be productive. And let's not talk about our mothers and our grandmothers. They were dealing with high levels of stress, and they would just like put on their makeup, put on their Sunday's best, sing and praise hallelujah, then go back to their struggle behind closed doors. I don't want that for me. I don't want that to be my story, because it doesn't have to. I have the privilege and the opportunity to have access to mental health treatments, so I'm gonna take it. I wanna unpack, I wanna process and heal from trauma. I wanna break generational cycles. I wanna fight for my joy. I really think about my future kids sometimes, and I'm like, nah, I have to be better for them. I cannot perpetuate the same cycle on my kids, because if you do not deal with your stuff, you are gonna pass it down onto your kids, whether you want to or not. I'm so grateful that Jesus found me, because I really don't know where I would be. Even with the therapy, I genuinely don't know where I would be. All of that to say, that's why I'm in therapy, and you should take your mental health serious too.
As a clinician, I've seen a lot of Black women have symptoms of depression show up as back pain, chest pain, and exhaustion. Real gag is when we do go to the doctor explaining that we've been having back pain, chest pain, and all the physical symptoms of depression or anxiety or whatever, because that's how it tends to show up in Black women. The clinician or PCP or whoever is more inclined to treat those symptoms because oftentimes programs do not teach how these symptoms show up in Black people. We have a lot of misdiagnosis and underdiagnosis going on in our community. And we know that misdiagnosis in our community leads to health inequity, poor quality of life, in some cases, prison, disease, death, etc., which is why we need more culturally competent clinicians.
And I think there's probably a lot of Black women out there that have like high functioning depression. What is that saying? Like, to be loved is to be seen. When you know your friends and you're checking on them, you know something is off, even if they're denying it. And I think a lot of times with depression, it's not easy to tell because we are always like putting on a brave face and we kind of live by this "we have to be twice as good" motto. And so we don't necessarily wear it or even allow ourselves to feel it. It doesn't always look like laying in bed and being unproductive. A lot of times you're very productive and your just natural state is like sadness or unhappiness, you know?
Yeah.
And it's not always like easy to detect.
These are some signs that you might be high functioning and experiencing symptoms of depression. My name is Tolu and I work as a registered mental health counselor and I work with BIPOC clients all across Canada. These are the signs that you might be high functioning, meaning you're still able to show up to work, get the things that you need to get done, but you know that something doesn't feel right or you're constantly masking. Sign number one is you find yourself getting more irritable than usual. You find yourself getting more annoyed or more snappy than usual. You find yourself isolating, not contacting your friends as much or wanting to contact them, but then last minute being like, why bother? You gaslight yourself and tell yourself that it's fine, you'll just deal with it on your own or it will pass with time, but it doesn't seem to be. You find yourself isolated even in group settings, feeling like I'm gonna be here, I'm gonna smile, I'm gonna put on a face, but nobody really knows what's going on with yourself. You find yourself just masking just to get through the event. You convince yourself that you're okay, you're fine, you don't need to share with other people what you're going through, and you're supposed to be just strong. That's what you've done your entire life, so why not continue to do so now? You might find yourself on social media, doom scrolling, just to pass time, or in an attempt to help make yourself feel better. You feel guilty about taking a break or slowing down, and you blame yourself when you make a mistake even more, or you constantly shame yourself as to why you can't perform at the length that you once did and tell yourself you're just lazy, you need to work harder, and your inner critic's voice is just really, really loud. You might find yourself feeling tired or not feeling as rested or struggles when you're sleeping. You might notice that your sleep quality is just deteriorating with time. You find it hard to concentrate on activities or things that you once did, and it just feels harder and harder for yourself to get things done, or you find yourself just like zoning out, like just spacing out. And if this is you and you know you've been feeling this way for a while and did not know you were high functioning and experiencing symptoms of depression, it is okay to seek out help. You don't have to carry on the archetype of being the strong Black woman. It is okay to seek help and to seek support because your mental health matters. Your mental health matters. Period. And if you're based in Canada and you've been seeking a Black therapist or a therapist that works with the BIPOC community, I have a counseling practice called Ashare Therapy, where we are a team of Black therapists dedicated to supporting the BIPOC community with their mental health. And we offer a free 30-minute consultation for new clients. If you'd like to get started, I feel like I'm looking a little crazy right now. If you'd like to get started, the link is in my bio for a free 30-minute consultation to see if we would be a good fit for you. Mwah, love you, you matter.
Black women will have depression and then go get a master's degree, or maybe a PhD, or maybe go to law school. And according to statistics, Black women are one of the most educated demographics in the US, if not the most educated. I find this so funny because instead of us going to therapy, we're like, okay, if I'm gonna be sad, might as well be busy while I'm being sad.
I think one of the biggest things that I've realized with Caribbean individuals, Caribbean folk around mental health and therapy is that we literally, like in our dialect, don't have language for mental health. The language we have is "Dagyo mad."
Yeah, everything is
mad.
crazy. Everything is
mad.
somebody's a crazy person.
She mad, she sick, they will be that's that. That is the language that we have for mental health and mental illness, right? And so I think one of the biggest things that I really focus on, particularly like I work with youth a lot as well. So like it's also working with youth, but also giving their parents context. Because a lot of times they're like first gen Canadian. And so they're hearing all of this mental health, they are on TikTok and they're hearing all this mental health language and they're self-diagnosing themselves, but that's a whole nother topic. But then their parents don't have the language.
There's really people in the world that are walking around with undiagnosed mental, behavioral, emotional disorders, and they are cosplaying sane, healthy people. I think that there's people that get entangled with those people who find themselves in a fucked up situation because they're not realizing that you are intertwined with someone who is an undiagnosed, mentally unstable person. People can learn how to pretend to be a healthy-minded person by pretending or like learning from other people who are sane and acting as if they are. When they are in a relationship or a friendship or some sort of close connection with someone to where they can't hide it anymore, it's because they have been trained to present themselves as if they're normal people walking this earth. I've observed that in so many different settings where there's people like, no, you have an undiagnosed mental disorder and you're pretending as if you're normal. People who have undiagnosed mental disorders can get a job, they can pay bills, they can do things to create children, they can drive a car, they can do all these things to where they can pretend to be a normal, law-abiding citizen until it's too late. I don't know what to do with that knowledge, but I see it. And I step back because I realize that there's people that are undiagnosed. They can have a big social media following. And they are mentally unstable.
Any one of us can struggle with poor mental health. Literally, the biggest risk factors are having a brain and living a life. But for some reason, we can blame ourselves. We can think that, if we just push through it or be more grateful, then we can snap out of it. And that's just not the truth. I think I can speak from my own experience with my own mental illness in the past and being a Black woman that we Black women especially try to just push through things or blame ourselves for mental illness, neurodiversity, etc. And a lot of the times we don't even realize what's happening in the first place for us to even seek help if we wanted to, or know that there is help to seek. And that's why I am a mental health educator and advocate, because knowledge is power. If you ever become unwell, I want you to be able to name the thing. If I can help even one person pause and think, maybe something's not right, then I've done my job. And if I can help reduce the stigma and improve the care that people have access to, that then if you are brave enough to seek help, you get the help that you deserve. Well, then that's everything to me. Check in with yourself and ask for help if you need it, because you are not alone. If this year you're trying to take your mental health seriously, then like and follow for more, and I'll see you in the next one.
Being a Black woman with social anxiety or depression or anything of that nature means that you will never know peace in America. Because the way it looks on us is so different. People just assume we are negative, we're mad, we can't be at work and not talk, we cannot not be a clown. The moment we're not acting like a clown and being so happy, and we're mad. No, I'm overstimulated. I'm tired. I want to go lay down. I'm stressed. I can't handle it. I'm not mad. I don't care about y'all.
My therapist just told me a person who struggles with PTSD, depression, and anxiety has a very hard time remembering things because they're using all of their brain power to try to just get through each moment, just trying to survive. And so they're not actually present in the moment, so they're not creating memories because they're not present. They're trying to run through all the things that they need to do and trying to brain dump so that they can actually just get through moments. And so because you're not present, you're not remembering, you're not creating those memories, so you can't recall information later on. And that was really interesting to me, because this whole time I'm thinking I need like some sort of medication because I'm so forgetful. And it's really because my brain just is brain dumping all the things that is deemed not necessary in order to survive.